Welcome to Hypnosis Health Info. I'm Roger Bourne. October 1st is World Vegetarian Day, and October is World Vegetarian Month. And these are educational opportunities that are sponsored by the North American Vegetarian Society. And if you want more information on that, go to worldvegetarianday.org. But what I really wanted to talk to you today was about, well, if you're a vegetarian or if you're a vegan, you don't eat meat, you don't eat dairy, where do I get my protein? And I'm pretty much a vegetarian, pretty much a vegan. I'm not real rigid about it, in that if I'm at a friend's house and they're serving me some fish, I'll eat some fish, and I know a little bit of dairy sneaks into my food from time to time, from baked goods or in restaurant meals or being a guest in someone else's house. But overall, in my own house and my own cooking, I do not use any animal products of any kind. It's all vegetables, it's all whole grains, and it's all fruit. And this weekend at a men's retreat, the question came up about, well, how do we get protein if you're having vegetables and whole grains and fruit? And specifically, the person that I was talking with said, well, he really liked having oatmeal for breakfast, which is a great thing. And I kind of look at oatmeal as being food of the gods. But he said, but then I don't have any protein. And I said, no, you do. Oatmeal is, depending on the type of oatmeal, is roughly 11% to sometimes as much as 15% protein. And there's this great myth here in this country that we have to have lots of protein. And the reality is our bodies require very, very little protein. According to the World Health Organization and their studies, we need 2.5% of our total calories from protein. 2.5%, that's all. Now, to be safe, they doubled it, and they said you need 5%. Well, if clients eat the way I tend to eat and recommend that people eat, of the bulk of their food comes from vegetables, from whole grains, from fruit, you're going to get 12 to 15% of your calories from protein. It's physically impossible to develop a protein-deficient diet based on vegetables, on whole grains, and fruit. It just can't be done. In fact, I'm going to read to you a little bit from my book, Becoming Slender for Life, where I'm talking about protein. And it's extremely difficult for anyone to become protein deficient. You would have to give up eating altogether. Practically all unrefined foods are loaded with proteins. Rice is 8% protein. Oranges, 8%. Potatoes, 11%, and beans, 26%. A 2.7 ounce tub of instant oatmeal contains 9 grams of protein. 1 cup of uncooked quinoa has 11 grams of protein. 1 medium-sized banana and a 1.5 ounce box of raisin each have more than 1 gram of protein. It is impossible to develop a protein-deficient diet based on vegetables, beans, grains, and fruits. No doctor, no nutritionist can develop a protein-deficient diet based on vegetables, on whole grains, fruits, beans, legumes. Now, some medications do take or make it difficult for your body to absorb protein, and there are other other health issues that can come up that make protein absorption difficult, and people who've had gastric bypasses have other issues to deal with in terms of protein absorption. But the normal, average, healthy adult, protein is not the issue they need to be concerned about. The issue they need to be concerned about is too much, and particularly too much fat. So don't get hung up on how much protein or do I need enough protein. I lead a very active lifestyle. I do long distance cycling. I do 100-mile bike rides. I've completed five marathons. And when I've taken and done a 3-day food diary of what I'm eating in terms of my oatmeal or brown rice for breakfast, lunch of vegetables and whole grains, and dinner of vegetables and whole grains and some fruit snacks mixed in. I eat 6 small meals, sometimes even 7 small meals throughout the day, and pretty much 0 when it comes to any animal protein. When I've plugged my nutritional, my food diary into the computer, I've always exceeded the protein requirements of an extreme athlete. Now, I don't consider myself an extreme athlete, but I'm very active. I do very well, or when I ran marathons, I always completed my marathons. I always had plenty of energy. It's not about protein. It's about excess, and particularly excess fat. So I would encourage you to go to drmcdougall.com and check out what Dr. John McDougall has to say about protein and about vegetables and whole grains and fruit. Go to pcrm.org, which is the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, another great resource where you can take a look at the data and the research about protein and how much we need and where to get proteins. And by the way, yes, it is complete proteins. You do get complete proteins when you eat vegetables and whole grains and fruit. You're going to get all the calcium you need. You're going to get all the protein you need. So don't get hung up on where am I going to get my protein. You're going to be just fine. What you really need to focus on is eating healthy foods, foods that look like you dug them out of the earth, picked them off a plant or a bush or out of a tree. If you're going to eat chicken, fish, beef, pork, then yes, keep it to the Weight Watchers concept, deck of cards, bar of soap, palm of your hand. It is a condiment. And remember that in Asia, that 4 ounces of chicken, fish, beef, pork would feed a family of 5. So in our country, we get into trouble because we get these big, huge monster pieces of meats and the big, huge hamburgers and all those things, and then we end up with the diseases of obesity. We end up with heart disease, we end up with diabetes, we end up with cancer and high blood pressure and everything else that's related. So check out World Vegetarian Month, worldvegetarianday.org. Go to the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine website, pcrm.org, and to Dr. John McDougall's website, drmcdougall.com, and gather up on the facts of healthy eating and just what nutrients we need and the best sources of those nutrients. Also, if you're thinking that, well, I can never give up, my beef or whatever it might be, well, I encourage you to look around at the resources here at Hypnosis Health Info and at Slender for Life, and discover how you can use hypnosis to change your thoughts, to change your food cravings, your food desires, and learn how to eat healthy, to have a desire for healthy foods, to eat when you're truly physically hungry, and to stop eating when your appetite says enough, no more. I'm Roger Moore, and this is Hypnosis Health Info.